kitchen again, and we're just gonna make some turkey, pesto, chickpeas, roasted tomato, happy goodness. So this is Evan's lunch, and I make it every week. Sometimes he makes it, if we're lucky. But today I'm gonna make it, and yeah, so let's get started. First things first, we've got the oven on at 425 degrees for Fahrenheit, and just get that preheated. And what we're gonna put in for that are some chickpeas, and we've got our tomatoes, and we're just gonna drain these out. And you don't have to like do anything fancy with them. I just pull the pull tab off and drain them straight in, or leave the lid in here, and you get that compression, and we're just gonna drain them. And for this purpose, I do like to have the chickpea juice liquid as my base instead of oil, and I find that the chickpeas crisp up a little bit better. So that's all we've got, and we'll go ahead and spread these out on our pan. And like I always say, if you don't have a pan big enough like this, you can squish everything on one small pan, or you can do it on two. And our tomatoes, we're just gonna get dumped right out. And these are gonna get a nice coating of extra virgin olive oil. Don't worry, I'm not Rachel Ray. I don't use shorthand, EVOO. I did grow up watching her, and she's cool, but I could never follow her lingo sometimes. You know what I forgot to get was the rosemary and thyme for the tomatoes, and the chili powder and red cayenne, and garlic powder's already over on the counter. Got that. Yes, meow. There's a cat again. Sweet savory mascot. So we've got our cayenne pepper. Now I'll put measurements in the recipe in the description, but like I always say, I eyeball it. And I like to coat these kind of heavy because he likes it a bit on the spicy side. I also coat it because that way I can tell how much I've got on there for the garlic powder, because the garlic powder is going to be the same color as the chickpeas almost. And otherwise I'm just going to dump the whole thing on there, which we always say about the salt and sugar. You don't want to do that. Garlic powder's next. And there we are. Alright, these three guys are done. And our tomatoes, you're just gonna coat them in the olive oil. And thanks, cameraman. Give a little rinse to the hands. This reminds me of Queen Elizabeth and her video camera that was given to her by her father. Yeah, that's fun. So we've got our thyme. I got some thyme on my hands. Alright. And a rosemary. So sometimes you can't get the rosemary that's like finely ground or whatever, so you get it in these giant sprigs. And if you're real fancy, you can break it up in a mortal pestle thing, but I'm just breaking it in my fingers. Feels kind of like dry grass. And you're just playing with the blades. Doesn't have to be immaculate. And just sprinkle that on. Get all off. Alright, in the oven these go. Usually about half an hour. I leave them in there until the tomatoes burst. and that means the chickpeas are good and ready. They're good and crispy. So let's move on to our quinoa. We got our pan and the water. We're gonna do the 2-to-1 ratio I mentioned last time. And this is gonna be important for that quinoa to bloom. And just a little over, because you know, it's gonna boil down some. And we've got our 1 cupper for the quinoa. Oh yeah. And not too much of a mess. A+. So, let's put this on. And I got a bullion cube, because I like to add a little bit extra something to my quinoa. And we're on the front burner. And you gotta bring that up to a high boil. Woo! And once that's gone, we'll dump the bullion in and stir it up, break it, bring it to life. And now we're gonna toss in that turkey meat. So we've got the tomatoes and the chickpeas in. Those are going, like I said, about 30 minutes. And we're gonna bring the water to a boil for the quinoa, the 2-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1. And then we're gonna get our ground turkey in. So when you know the pan is gonna be just hot enough, it'll be just a little too uncomfortable like that was. And you know you're ready to rock and roll. There she blows. And you can chuck that. Now we buy our meat in bulk because we cook this so frequently. And like I had in that photo, the meat comes out just over a pound. If you want to do this like just to try it out, you don't have to get your meat in bulk at BJ's or Costco, and just get the 1 pounder. So I start to break this up some, and then we're going to toss in some salt and pepper. So I poured a little bit too much in my hand. You want just a little bit, like a 1/4 teaspoon if you're going to use a measuring cup. And pepper, don't dump it all, but sprinkle it on to your taste buds. We like to know what we're eating, and it's good turkey.
Can we have garlic powder?
Yes, and the garlic powder, don't worry. And I got onion powder too. Steve's talking over there now. So we got, I like to put in a lot of garlic powder. There we are. And the onion. Oh, and our water's almost coming to a boil. We're just going to kind of break in and stir it. And if you want, try to do a flip action. Ooh, that is some hot steam coming from the pan. It's a nice facial. Hey, stay down. She doesn't want to be caught in the act. All right. So we're gonna lid this. Boink. There we go. And take this off. We got our water boiling, and that's why I put a little over that 2-cup mark, because you're gonna get some steam boiling off. And I'm just gonna bring this one down to low. And if you can, try to break up that bouillon cube, because otherwise, sometimes I've found it in clumps in my quinoa or rice, and it is not tasty. There we go. 2-second rule. It was only on stove. So, and then here we got big old wooden spoon. Now we're just gonna try to break that up. Kind of feels like you're painting happy little bouillon cubes instead of happy little trees.
I thought it was bushes.
Well, it's bushes, trees, birds.
They're all happy.
Everybody's happy in Bob Ross's world. Oh, Bob Ross.
You like Bob Ross?
I love Bob Ross.
What do you like about Bob Ross? The paintings?
I love his paintings. I love his philosophy. I love his freaky hair. I like the fact that he lived in Alaska.
I like his squirrels.
Oh yes, the squirrels. Oh, I love the squirrels. He had like this little video of a squirrel, and then the squirrel was like his friend, and it was so cute, and he's always hugging baby deers. Oh, so adorable. So we're just waiting for these things to... Oh, quinoa. We're waiting for nothing. The water is waiting for us. So we're gonna pour that in, and then get a good stir on this. And the magic about rice or quinoa, set it and forget it. Just kidding. You are gonna keep an eye on it, but you can kind of leave it there. You check it every once in a while just to make sure that it's not all boiled down or burning or exploding for some reason, because you never know what could happen. It's a kitchen, and you just keep an eye on it. Smell that garlic. I wish you could. Break this up more, and you kind of want it as though you're gonna make chili meat, almost. If you've seen Hope, unless you're a vegetarian, broken up chili meat in like chili dog or your bean chili.
There's vegetarian substitutes, isn't there?
Yeah, there are some brands. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah, I remember one time you made a vegetarian chili. It was really good.
Oh yeah, but that didn't have any. Did it have baked meat in it?
I can't remember.
I don't remember either. I'll have to find the recipe and I'll have to make it again. Because I find that's where I'm starting to get some of my inspiration, is by going back in time and finding the meals that we really loved that I haven't done because we get into a rut. And why not make fun things? It's therapeutic, at least for myself. I know a lot of my friends, a lot of people I talk to all the time, they say, "Ooh, I don't want to cook because it's boring or scary or there's lots of dishes." And you know what? You're going to have to clean it up anyway. You get takeout, you're going to have to clean up the table that you ate off of. So what? You just got to clean something else that's different. So I'm just going to turn this up a wee bit, just so we can get some color and kind of dry out the turkey a little bit because it's kind of watery. I don't like to add any oil or anything to the pan with turkey meat. I feel like there's already enough moisture in there that it's just gonna be juicy enough. And does it result good? Okay, good. Result is good. So that's a go. I don't eat this dish anymore. I got very tired of it, so now I eat salads for my lunch. Which sounds boring enough.
Yeah, you make really good salads. Maybe you should make a salad for, for vegetarians or,
Yeah. I did see a really good recipe for like an Italian sub done as a salad, and I really want to try that. And it doesn't call for like pasta or anything, which was refreshing because usually those salads call for like a bow tie pasta or something. I love pasta, but we just got too much sometimes. So we're gonna take a peek at these guys and pull this out. See, We're starting to get some bubble juice action going on. They're not totally popped yet the way that I like. And the chickpeas, they're starting to dry out some. Now, out of all the things that I check that come out of the oven like this, I don't move these things around. I don't know why. I just choose not to. You can if you want. I just don't, because I usually set it and forget it and then walk away and then go, you smell the air. It's very aromatic because you got the thyme and the rosemary and you got the garlic and the chili powder, and you're just like, whoa, wait, where'd this smell come from? Okay, I should probably check the oven. That's literally how I cook. So I come in and I check it. That's why I say 30 minutes. Keep an eye on it. If they're bursting the way that you think that they should, then you're gonna be fine. But there. So we've got our turkey, and this is coming together real nice. We don't have too much color on it because I've been keeping the lid on. Excuse me. That's okay. It doesn't have to be browned or anything specific, like a color that you're looking for. It's all gonna be mixed together. But as long as you know it's cooked, you know it's broken up pretty well, because this is gonna be portioned out into 5 containers. I gotta get the measurements. I think they're 5 or 6 ounces.
Oh, let's find out.
All right, so we're at, 2 cups. Just kidding. We're at 2 cups. These little square guys. And those are perfect. And I fill them just underneath that lip that comes out. That's how much I fill them, and that's just enough for them. I'm just gonna turn the meat off because that's definitely done. So.
How do you know it's done?
So how do I know it's done? It's totally dried out. All that moisture's gone. I know that, but it is no longer pink. It's kind of a gray color. That's what ground turkey is. Now, right in the garbage can. She's like, that's so rude. And this pan is very big, very heavy, so I try to break everything up before I go to pick it up. And that way I can just go whoop, right in there. Good enough.
Smells really good.
Does it smell like I put enough garlic in there?
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Alright, so let's check quinoa. And that's on low. I think I might turn it up just a wee bit. I want it to take 100 years. It generally takes 20 to 30 minutes. And let's check these guys again for good measure and for illustrative purposes. So we've got our oil that's run off here, and I'll just move these around some. They're not popping or broken yet. Oh, this guy is here. His skin's coming off. We're getting some good, nice breakdown action. And our chickpeas, they're coming up nicely. There we go. Now the quinoa is going boop, 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 boop. There we are. Got our quinoa bubbling away. There. That's kind of what you want. So you get something going and not waiting for paint to dry.
Oh, what some people like to watch paint dry though.
I'm not one of them. I am not one of those people. So we're just gonna wait for these things to come together. And we got our turkey hanging out in the big bowl. Then what we're gonna do is take the rest of this jar of pesto, because I use half of this. We used to get 2 small jars where we used to get smaller jars, but now they only stock these giant ones. Half of that we're gonna be dumping in after we add all the other stuff.
So maybe give them an idea of how many ounces then.
Oh, so full ounces is 13.5, and half is
about 7.
About 7. Good. That was gonna be my answer, actually. So once we get all the other stuff in, we'll toss this pesto in, and then we'll show you the final result. Do one last check on this quinoa, and this is quite beautiful. We've got good fluff on it. It's not sticky, it's not watery. We don't see any extra liquid coming in there, so we're good to go. I'll just turn that off. Now, if you're gonna make quinoa like as a side for your dinner, you can do just half a cup of quinoa to 1 cup of water, because a serving of quinoa is actually just 1 cup, or 1/4 of a cup. So that would just be the perfect amount. You wouldn't have leftovers. No need to portion it off. And we've got our containers here all set up and ready to go. Let's give this a big old happy stir. So, like I said, these we're just gonna fill up. And you wanna try to get a little bit of everything in there. And plop her in. And that's about good, because you need it to make for 5 days. Oh, but this was a variation on your original lunch, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, with the chicken and rice.
Yeah. So the original lunch was chicken, rice, tomatoes, canned tomatoes, I think, and tomato sauce.
I remember it was very bland.
Yeah. And we kept trying to figure out how to add more flavor to it, because you liked it, but it just wasn't enough punch. And this was the winner.
Yes, ma'am.
Here we've got our 5 set up. And at this stage in the game, I try to pick who's got a little bit extra. Even them off. Yeah, I know. So exciting, isn't it, Princess? So, toss these lids on, and then we're ready for the week. You just stick them in your fridge, take it out, there you go. It's another meal prep idea. You could have this for dinner too if you wanted. It's not just specifically your lunch. You can only eat this for lunch. No, it's just what he eats for his lunch. Sometimes I eat it for dinner if there's an extra one left over. But yeah, so that is the turkey pesto quinoa chickpea lunch thing. Has no real name. I will put the ingredients in the description, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button below. I linked my first playlist down below as well, and that's all things dinner. If you haven't already, subscribe here on the left, and then ding the bell for notifications. Ding, 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 ding.